Take a look at this woman. She's taking the Celpip exam. And on the exam, there's a question where she has to talk about a personal experience. Okay, and she has 1 minute to answer the question. What should she say? Well, in this lesson, I'm going to tell you exactly what you should say for this question on the exam. Now, if you want more lessons on Celpip, just click on the subscribe button right down there. Okay, so here's the question. Talk about a great time you had with a family member or friend. Maybe you can talk about a party, something you did together at school, a time you traveled with a friend, or anything else you can remember. What happened and why was it memorable? Okay, so we have lots of options here. Now, I think this is probably the easiest question on the on the Celpip exam, because you only have to tell a story for 1 minute. Okay, so it should be pretty easy, okay? So you're going to tell a story about something that happened to you that was memorable. Okay, so you're going to use past tense verbs. Now, this is very important. Okay, you're going to say something like this. 2 years ago, my best friend and I went to Las Vegas on a vacation. We ate great food, we drank, we visited, we saw, we experienced. Okay, look at all those past tense verbs. I know lots of English learners who never use past tense verbs at all. Never. They never use past tense verbs. Okay, so you need to use past tense verbs if you want to do well on this question. When we're telling a story, we're talking about the past and we use these past tense verbs. Okay, so what should you talk about in your story? Well, you should say who was in the story, what was the context, okay, where was it, when was it, okay? For example, you could say, 2 years ago, I went to Las Vegas with my friend on a vacation. Okay, so in one sentence, you answered all of these. Okay, so that's what you should do. Your first sentence should answer all of these things. Okay, so your first sentence is going to be the big picture. Who, what, where, when. Then you're going to zoom in on what happened. What happened? You're going to give the details. Okay, and you're going to give the details in chronological order. Okay, chronological means time. So the order of time. First this happened, then this, then this. Okay, for example, you could say, on the first day, we did such and such. Then on the second day, on the third day, okay, that way it'll be easy for the person who's listening to your speaking. It'll be easy for them to follow your story. Okay, and they'll probably give you a good mark. Okay, so you're going to use words like then, after that. Okay, now, what strategy are you going to have when you answer this question? You have 30 seconds to think about something before you start speaking. Okay, so are you going to tell a real story or are you going to make up a story? What do you think is easier for you? Well, I would say if a story immediately comes to mind, then it would be easier to tell a real story. Like, let's say you see the question and you think, oh yeah, that time I was in Europe with my friend. Okay, I'll talk about that. Then it would probably be easier to tell a real story because then you don't have to think about making something up, right? But if you can't think of a real story, don't waste time trying to think about some experience you had. Just make something up. okay? Because you only have 30 seconds to prepare. So just make something up and then start taking notes what you're going to say. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of how I would answer this question. Okay, remember, you only have 1 minute and you have 30 seconds to prepare. So I see the question. Okay, nothing is coming to my mind. I can't think of a real story that happened, so I need to make something up. Okay, so I'm going to say I went on a motorbike trip in Thailand with my friend. Okay, so I'm gonna start taking notes. On the first day, we just relaxed and we got some massages. On the second day, we rented our motorbikes and we started our trip. On the third day, we had a crazy food experience. Okay, on the fourth day, my friend's motorbike broke down. Okay, 30 seconds is done. Now I need to start speaking. Okay, so I've got my stopwatch here. I'm going to start it so you can hear exactly how I would answer this question. Okay, ready? Take a deep breath. Okay, start. 2 years ago, my friend and I went on a motorbike trip in Thailand. We started our trip in the city of Chiang Mai. When we got there, we were really tired on the first day, so we just relaxed and we went to get some Thai massages. Okay, on the second day, we rented our motorbikes and we started our trip. We drove from Chiang Mai up to the city of Chiang Rai in northern Thailand. On the third day, we had a really crazy experience. We stopped at a restaurant for lunch and my friend wanted to try some crazy Thai food, so he ordered fried spiders. But one of the spiders wasn't dead. It was still alive and it was crawling around in the plate. So my friend actually ate a living spider. It was crazy. Okay, so my time is up. A minute. I was going to say, on the fourth day, my friend's motorbike broke down and that sort of ruined our trip. So we couldn't keep going our trip, so we decided to end our trip and we just, I don't know, whatever I could say. Okay, but this is good because I had enough to talk about. Now, maybe it would have been a little bit better if I had looked at the time and said some sort of conclusion. Like, even though we had some frustrations with the motorbike breaking down, it was still a great trip that I'll remember forever. That would be a great ending. Okay, but I ran out of time. Okay, so, I don't know. I think it's better to keep speaking for the full time than to end early. Like if you talk for 30 seconds and then you say, that was something I'll remember. That was a good trip. I had a good time with my family. And then you're done and you've got 30 seconds left. You're not going to get a good mark. I think you're going to get a better mark if you talk from beginning to end, even if you can't get a good conclusion in, like I did. Okay, so that's how I would answer it. But I want to know about you. Which personal experience would you talk about if you had to answer this question? What would your strategy be? What would you write? What would you take notes of in the 30 seconds? Okay, let me know down there in the comments, and I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.